Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordant. We are going to continue our playthrough of Rogue Trader. So, I am in front of the data altar of Sacred Analysis. This is something that I've been meaning to, do before we head out from this area, and I think I understand how now. I've been fiddling around with this, and we actually had some of the ideas correctly. I do believe that the first one is the Omnissiah, and I've searched everywhere in the area. I couldn't find any more books, lore, anything like that that could give me an understanding of how to do this. It's actually just going by what you know about, the tech priests and the Omnissiah and all that stuff. So, given that we have the Omnissiah here, which is their god, this is going to be our first option here. So the Omnissiah, from whom the Holy Discharge springeth forth. Then we also have something that I actually kind of forgot about, but we did see in one of the previous episodes. When you reach this area or somewhere in a nearby area, we read something about an arcane key that closed the circuit. We did see something like this at some point. I don't remember where. And then finally, let me see if I remember which one this was. I believe it's the immortal reason that hath created the spark. Now, I'm not entirely sure of how exactly or where exactly we get this hint, but I believe that we're going by stuff like memory, and we see the capitalized letter here, right? So here we're talking about memory, here we're talking about soul, body, reason, and faith. And if we're going by something like computational technologies, electricity and whatnot, I would expect reason to be associated with that. So now finish this prayer, pilgrim. May the unity of the sacred charges power the immortal reason that hath created the spark. A solemn Binheric trail comes from the Cogitator. Verily so. A pilgrim who has learned our ways is worthy of the gifts of the enlightened. So, there we go. That's the way to do this puzzle. So if you are curious about it, these are the answers. So the first choice is the Omnissiah, then the arcane key, and finally the immortal reason. And those will open up this door. Now, what we have behind the door, I still haven't checked. I saved it for the episode. And, ooh, we get some cargo. We get an arc rifle. What is this? It's an exotic weapon. It looks to be some kind of like power weapon. I'm not sure. Rate of fire 1. Range 9. Max ammo 4. Only has a single shot. When the enemy hits a target with the arc rifle, they also attack all enemies within 2 cells of the target. Man, that's very cool. I like this a lot. Man, this is kind of like the arc ability from Idira. And then we have the pinpointing visor. Grants plus 15% critical hit chance to range attacks against enemies with less than 50% wounds left. This is also very good. Okay, some very cool pickups here. So who can use this? Everybody can use it. Is it just like but it says it's exotic. But apparently doesn't require any kind of specific proficiency. All right. So who would take this? The range is not that long. It's not as good as a sniper rifle. She could have some fun with this, but she prefers burst weapons. I guess you could take it, but then again, I also like the plasma pistol. Man, it's never an easy choice. I guess I can just swap it for what I have here on my main guy, as I'm not using that anyway. The only problem with this setup is if he gets caught in melee, he doesn't really have an option to get out of it. But I guess we can try it out and see how it works. So we also picked up a helmet. So yeah. Plus 15% crit to range attacks against enemies with less than 50% wounds left. What do I get? Mine gives me fellowship, I think. No, it grants armor based on my fellowship, and it also grants me fellowship. Okay. You have immunity from critical hits. It's useful. This guy has this, which I'm not going to use him anyway, so I don't care. 5% armor, I like it. Argenta. Plus 5 to hit chance and 3 to critical hit chance. I think I prefer this. And finally, what do you have? The wearer's lore Imperium tests depend on fellowship instead of intelligence. Yeah, I don't think this matters. It does give her a 3 bonus, but... Oh, but my lore Imperium goes down by a lot. Okay, so now to find what I was using before. This one? Yeah, because the int is actually quite low. But who is our main guy for lore Imperium? It's actually my main character, I feel. Yeah, okay, so you can take this. I don't expect it to do much. Nah, take that. I think I prefer to have the skill checks. And if anybody's gonna use this, it will probably be Argenta. If she reaches a point where she has a lot of hit chance, we can replace it, but for right now I just prefer the hit chance. And while we are looking at this, we're also going to do our level ups. So I looked over these, and here it's gonna be somewhat simple. We're gonna take ballistic skill on my main character, and as for the common talent, I was going for, and of course I forgot. Let me see if I can find what I wanted. I was going to give him... I know what I was going to give him. I was going to give him some more fellowship. So characteristic training, get some more fellowship here, and he is done. We now have a 6 bonus. For Mr. Pascal, we will be giving him perception. And we will be giving him swift movements. And again, I'm not still overly concerned with what I'm picking over here. I'm just picking stuff that seems like it makes sense. When we get back to the void ship at some point in the near future, and I have some free time, I'm going to try and look over all of my builds and see if I want to respec any of my characters. This guy can take weapon skill. And... wait, I was gonna give him something interesting. Damn it. I remembered I saw something that seemed useful on the Psyker side of things. Where was it? Force weapon attacks deal +1 plus psi rating more damage and have more armor penetration. This would not be bad if he's using something like a power sword. But I was looking at... No, you know what? Yeah, sure. I'll just give him this. Blade of Light. Have fun. For Mr. Abelard, we are going to be giving him... I feel like strength to round it off. Be 50. And here I want to try out heavy armor proficiency, because we did pick up some heavy armor that seems like it's going to be useful. For Argenta, we are going to give her... Let me see if there's something here that I might want. I mean, I always practice what I'm going to pick for the level ups, and then I start the episode and I forget. Let me see. There will be something here that will ring a bell, I hope. I was thinking about heavy weapon proficiency. I'm not exactly sure how this works. That's why I'm kind of afraid to pick it right now. But if there are heavy weapons like a heavy bolter, I will want it. I think that instead I'm probably going to pick something like nimble. Just give her some extra dodge chance. Seems like it's going to be good. Sure. And over here I'm going to give her some more awareness. Since she's the person taking care of the traps, having more awareness is never a bad thing. The other consideration was going to be Medicae. Actually, how much awareness do we have? 75. And I have just convinced myself to not do that, so Medicae instead. And finally we have our friend Cassia here. She is gonna have perception, and this one I did memorize. I'm gonna give her ebb and flow. So every even, so second, fourth, etc. turn, the navigator gains an additional action point, which can be very good. And every odd turn, first, third, etc., the navigator gains plus 20 perception. It's one of our main stats, so I think it's gonna be useful for us. Okay, level up's done. Puzzle for the first galvanic hymn done. All we have left to do now is leave this area. This is where we went. This is the exit. Let's go. And we are almost about to finish up our first archetype. It's gonna be interesting to see my choices and how our characters are gonna progress, because I currently have no idea.
Follow my lead.
Okay, let's get out. You guys are still just standing there. You have been very useful. Nothing else to do here. Return to Void Ship. And I will need to check my quest log, because I don't remember exactly where I'm supposed to go now. I'm guessing back to Rykad Minoris to speak with the Governor and tell him that we've dealt with Aurora. Or the game will just tell me.
Rogue Trader, I was somewhat brusque at our first meeting, and I would like to make up for it by expressing my thanks for your assistance in the electrodynamic Cenobium. Your arrival could not have come at a better time. Unfortunately, my personal investigation has hit a dead end. I think I will have to call upon outside resources to continue the search.
You see Heinrich's expression sour at those last words. I have something to confess. I discovered some kind of chaos artifact in the Cenobium's Cogitator, and I deemed it necessary to dispose of it. Yeah, let's be truthful.
What? All right. At the very least, the object of corruption, if that is indeed what it was, has been destroyed. This is a satisfactory outcome.
Okay, good.
There is one more thing. The Lord Inquisitor gave me this item some time ago. He must have thought it likely that I would find myself aboard this vessel sooner than he. I was instructed to deliver this device to Lady Theodora. However, given recent events, I believe I ought to present it to you. This is an elucidator, a sacred machine capable of translating the languages of remote and lost worlds into Low Gothic. It can even process Xenos languages to a certain degree. Not without infelicities, but possibly well.
Okay, that actually sounds like it's gonna be quite useful. Be honest, man, Kellogg's, is this some kind of tracking device?
Certainly not. The Elucidator is such a rare and complex creation of the Omnisia that neither I nor any of my colleagues would dream of compromising its integrity.
Omnisia?
If you wish, have your tech priests confirm that there are no listening devices inside.
Omnisia? It's the Omnissiah. That's how I've always heard it. What do you think will become of the electrodynamic Cenobium?
It all depends on the Electro priests who survived the attack. Fortunately for them, the cultists did not manage to seriously corrupt the holy site, partly thanks to the priesthood's efforts. Nevertheless, I would not be surprised if the local explorator fleet decides to audit and purge the damaged units once it hears about what has happened.
And what do you plan to do now?
I would like to offer my assistance in resolving your immediate problems. I am aware that the ship suffered considerable losses during the recent mutiny and was damaged by the cultists' actions, and you have lost many valuable officers as well. You are in a difficult situation. I am at your disposal.
Okay, cool. I must return to my duties. Heinrich is about to say something else when he is interrupted by the sound of a Vox signal. Someone is trying to contact you.
Thank you for your time. Please consider me at your complete disposal while I am aboard your vessel.
Thank you. Oh, not voiced. Vox Master Vigdis. Congratulations on the victory, your lordship. The entire vessel was impatiently awaiting the news of your expedition's success. The rumors about you not simply saving the Tech Priest's monastery, but actually eliminating the source of the mutiny are spreading like wildfire. The Vox transmissions from across the world speak of nothing else. Governor Medina is expecting you at his command center to discuss matters. We are ready to depart immediately, just give the order. Alright. Does this have something new? No, these are like the pre-purchase thingies. And I want to check something here. I'm not sure if this was actually done. And go. Wait, too much. No, I'm sad. Because I should have my name here, but it's not there yet. Which makes me a little bit sad, but oh well. Unless this is capitalized? Wait. Nah. Not there yet. Okay. If I ever find it here, I will share it with you guys. But yeah, so we're gonna move out. And we are going to, I believe, speak with Pascal. we still haven't had much of a chance to speak with Pascal ever since we recruited him. And if he's to be our new tech priest aboard the ship, I want to, you know, speak to him a little bit. So this is Argenta. Man, in the early access the game would show me where my companions were. In this version it does not show it, which makes me kind of sad. So Heinrichs, where is Pascal? Is this guy blessing the... okay, never mind. Oh, there he is. Oh, and Abel. Nice. The servant of the Omnissiah you saved from the Electro Priest Monastery, who calls himself Abel Anoman, is staring intently at the Cogitator's vid screen. Wires connect the sacred computing machine to augmatics inside the skull of tech servants who are whispering something, their heads bowed in prayer. Abel looks up to you. After a lengthy silence, he looks away and says stiffly, "And the Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all." How are you feeling, Abel? The tech priest stares intently at his feet for a while and then says, stumbling, "The running of the Binheric protocols was bogged down and dissolved in false commands. The filter has separated the correct signals from the incorrect. The running has been restored to its swiftness." Pascal speaks softly, as though trying to match the inflections of Abel's voice. Tech brother Abel has passed the diagnostics. The pernicious influence of sacrilegious procedures has been completely eliminated. Statistically, most survivors of a schismatical infestation are left with severe cognitive impairments. However, Tech brother Abel's mind, being of a less typical nature, has not been damaged to that great of a degree. Let's gaze into Abel's eyes. Tech brother Abel, you are free from possession, are you not? I trust that you pose no threat to my ship. Abel's voice quivers and his eyes dart around, desperately avoiding eye contact. What was flawed has since been purged, but the shadows of the hunt linger. The cog is dismounted and no judgment has been made. In the absence of judgment, threat remains. Who will make the judgment? I will. Pascal places a mechadendrite on Abel's shoulder and repeats, his voice heavy like a wheel tread, crushing the dirt underneath. I will make the judgment that will avert the threat. His gaze falls to you. There is no need to frighten him. Okay, so what troubles you so? Or what troubles him so? I assumed at first that this was caused by the shock inflicted upon his system by the schismatical attack, but my tech brother's words are a sign of a deeper reason for his unease. He foresees something that threatens both him and all those around him, and thus I stand ready to face this threat. What judgment do you speak of? Only he knows, but if my tech brother fears that he might not make the right decision at the critical moment, then I will do it for him. And why are you so concerned about him? He is not the one you were hoping to find. Answer unknown. I am registering a kinship, both between our identifiers and one that is more profound. Archmagos Amarnath left an imprint on all his students. It may be, then, that I see some of my mentor in tech brother Abel, and so my spirit rejoices and strives to keep him from harm. You care for him as if he truly were your younger brother. Pascal's vox rasps a tired laugh. Tech Brother Abel is harmonious, and harmony is beauty. Is it so strange an urge to protect beauty from the horrors of the grotesque? No, I think it's fine. I will try not to give Abel any undue cause for dread. Thank you. Why do you and Pascal both call yourself by the same name? Abel freezes. From his vox synth, barely audible to the static, come the words. The naming of the names is not an index to the text. The naming of the names is the text. Okay. Abel's answers can be enigmatic. His mind works differently from ours. He thinks in harmonic imagery and notices the symmetries and proportional relationships in the world around him. Poetry would be the closest analogy to how he perceives and interacts with reality. Okay. I never thought there were poets among tech priests. Pascal looks surprised. Why would there not be? Technolingua is rhythmical and possesses a broad semantic scope, and some of its more sonorous dialects lend themselves well to individual and symphonic recitals. Okay, let's soften our tone. Abel, could you please explain what you mean? Abel relaxes a little. His gaze drifts to the side. There is silence. Pascal, do you understand what Abel is hinting at? Negative. However, I will hypothesize. Tech Brother Abel is seeking to convey the idea that our matching identifiers are not the key to some important information. They are, in and of itself, or in and of themselves, the important information. At this stage in my analysis, I can draw no useful conclusions from that proposition. However, the very fact that Tech Brother Abel is trying to hint at something points to him either being better informed than me or having conducted a more in-depth analysis of the situation. That is useful data. Are we overthinking it? It doesn't matter why our names matched, what matters is that they matched? Is that what you mean? Abel looks sideways at you, and at once his transfixed super is gone. At this point in time, the cycle has been broken and reshaped into a rising spiral, as Amarnath envisioned. On hearing his mentor's name, Pascal lets out a raspy, static-filled sigh. They are connected. My hypothesis regarding Abel's connections to the blessed Amarnath has been confirmed. Okay, let's point to the Cogitator. What are you working on? We catch the soul of the light in the solar wind. We look for the footsteps the Omnissiah left when he walked the desert. This is the oneiromantic computation procedure. The depersonalized minds of these machine servants are in a data dream, processing enormous arrays of assorted data and aggregating them. Virtually all results of such synthesis are scrap data, but occasionally we have noted coincidences whose exactness defied logic. It is a fairly rare and venerated form of statistical augury, but Tech Brother Abel is adept at this form of appealing to the Deus Mechanicus. So we can use logic or perception, look for a logical connection within the data. We succeeded. Most runes are devoid of any meaning, but you notice a few among them that combine into formulae and computational graphs. Abel peers at you inquisitively, then shifts its gaze to the vid screen, and you could swear that a smile lights up his face under his respiratory augmetic. A crystal is exquisite in clear water. Deviation from the cycle's trajectory has been increased, as was Amarnath's wish. Abel lowers his head, and his Vox synthesizer broadcasts a Benheric hymn you don't recall having heard before. Its sound is full of vibrant energy, and its precise rhythm is nothing short of pleasing to the ear, a rare thing for the language of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Pascal explains with an inexplicable air of pride. Tech Brother Abel has dedicated the lesser aria to you. The piece is distinguished by a high degree of acoustic harmony and is fit for use as a motto, auxiliary identifier, or epitaph. Man, I will say, for non-English native speakers, this game is tough. It is tough. Bow to Abel. Thank you for the generous gift. The gift is disproportionate, but it does signify a personal liking. Why do you do it? It is how we carry out the quest for knowledge in the hope that the machine god grants us an epiphany, so we may discern a logical connection in a heap of absurd data which will propel our comprehension forward. Inspect the sacred machine. Hair has been removed from every servitor's head. Their bulky cerebral augmetics cover their skulls like helmets. The faces of the Cogitator servants are blank. Their eyes are closed. Their lips are incessantly whispering what sounds like gibberish. Hundreds of lines of symbols containing preserved information are scrolling down the Cogitator's vid screen. Abel Hanneman is peering at it with voracious interest, in sharp contrast to his usual calmness. Well, my interest in the subject has been exhausted. Abel goes back to watching the calculations. He's focused and his eyes are alight with curiosity. So, turning to Pascal, have you heard what Abel said? It looks like we have contributed to Amarnath's design and deviated from the cycle. What does that mean for you? A low guttural sound rises from the depths of Pascal's Vox synth, as though the planet's tectonic plates are shifting and crushing each other. That mighty rumble brings forth words imbued with power. We follow a path charted by a great mind, but that path leads to dark places. The cycle has the advantage of predictability. Abandoning it will plunge the collective into a perilous space of uncertainty, which will inevitably lead to disasters and the risk of downfall for all. The doctrine of discontinuing the cycle may be good tidings, or it may be a death sentence. Only the Omnissiah knows all and comprehends all. Others are mere prophets who interpret his wisdom as far as their own comprehension enables them to. Okay, so is that on the proper way? As flawed as status quo is, it has helped us survive for the past 10 millennia, and therefore it is efficient. Better die fighting in exchange, not alive. Disaster is just another problem. Okay. So this sounds like heresy. I'm guessing he's not gonna like it. So, as flawed as the status quo is, it has helped us survive for the past 10 millennia, therefore it is efficient. The 13th universal law attests to the truth of your words. The knowledge of the ancients is above questioning. However, drawing the line between the ancients and the fallible ones who followed in their footsteps is no easy task. There's doubt in the tech priest's voice. The tone of thundering profundity drains from Pascal's vox, giving way to his familiar sibilance. I must take my leave. Abel looks away at once as if he's lost all interest in you. Then, however, his vox says, barely audibly, I am glad to see you. Alright. And what about Mr. Pascal here?
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
The mecha dendrites growing out of the tech priest's back swivel in your direction as if examining you with curiosity. Okay, so we're gonna take the chance to get to know Pascal a little bit better. I want to know the truth about you.
The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagus Amarnath, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma.
And what did he do?
He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amarnath claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things.
Well, I do agree with Amarnath. Universal laws, the sacred commandments observed by all followers of the cult Mechanicus.
My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that a ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it.
Certain aspects of the Imperium have indeed ossified. His argument sounds reasonable.
This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter, but the blessed Amarnath was not afraid.
And how did you betray him?
The teachings of the blessed Amarnath spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected brothers, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizance fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen, anathematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagos Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate Traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
So you betrayed your mentor.
This statement is true. However, I took this step out of loyalty to my mentor. He rejected caution and was leading us to a blasphemous war where he would become the first and most important victim. I did not want to witness his destruction and tried to force him to submit. I wanted to return to my mentor and share his fate, but the Conclave found me repentant and sent me to the station Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17, where I was to atone for my previous transgressions.
You are as good at finding excuses as you are technology. I'll go for this.
This statement is false. I, Pascal Haneman, fully accept responsibility for my profane acts and betraying the trust of my esteemed mentor.
So why did you go to Rykad Minoris?
I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the Blessed Amanat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain: we were in danger, and I had to go to Rykad Minoris.
Okay. The tech priest named Abel, who is he?
Assessing his personality is difficult. The spirit of Brother Abel is different from
Abel.
that of most people. Tech comrades of the Cog call such persons quiet ones. He possesses significant intellect, but shuns communication. So far, I have not been able to determine why Abel summoned me to Rykad Minoris, how he is related to the Blessed Amanat, or why he bears the same name as me. Perhaps Reverend Abel may not be fully able to actualize and interpret the available data.
And what are you gonna do next?
I was wrong when I assumed it was the Blessed Archmagos Amanat who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link.
Okay, no more questions.
Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the Blessed Amanat.
I wanna know more about your past.
The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Coronis Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
Okay, and how did you end up in the Cronus Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Coronis Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
So why are you not with the fleet then?
After I betrayed Archmagos Amanat, the fleet conclave directed me to the orbital station, Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17, for penance. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Coronis expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizant's fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the explorators?
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
Tell me more about your mechadendrites.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
Okay, we can stop there.
Acknowledged.
Tell me more about the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Man, these companions are... well done. Why did you mention Mars?
That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars-forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength.
Nice. What do you mean guarded? It's not buried treasure, it's not a secret.
It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of the Xenos. This bane is called Xenotech.
Forbidden heretical technology spawned by the warp and chaos. And this is so cool. True. Banning things you cannot understand is the opposite of seeking knowledge. Technology is merely a tool that can be employed without risk by a wise wielder.
That is a bold hypothesis. And yet the Omnissiah teaches us that a dauntless mind can penetrate any knowledge through analysis, where the ignorant see heresy, the enlightened might see truth.
And do you hold a high position in your fraternity?
This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral.
What is the Omnissiah in your understanding?
He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel, Because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worship the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace.
Did not know that. And what is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus' enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentations?
Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness. It softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes.
I'm curious to see your augmentations.
The right to witness the miracle of flesh being fused with holy metal is granted only to those who have ascended to the rank of initiate. However, your lofty status of rogue trader allows me to make a partial exception and reveal my sacred stigmata.
Ooh. Pascal reverently parts the robe's scarlet folds of his chest. You see emaciated white meat gnawed through by metallic chunks and flexible wires. Blood runs through transparent pipes enriched with the nutrients required by the pellet flesh. Oh, come on. Wait, what? Wait, no, I passed. I passed. What do you mean? How did I oh my god. I think a 20% penalty is being applied but not shown. That's what I feel is happening here. But this is so messed up, man. The sight of a body transformed into an appendage to some ancient mechanism is sickening. It is like hundreds of giant metallic insects have swarmed the flesh and are leeching the vitality from it. I am impressed.
Flesh may be fragile, but metal is strong. And so is my devotion.
Beneath the crimson shroud is emaciated white flesh riddled with augmentations. I know. You have a strange way of speaking. Is that because of the augmentation, or does your faith dictate how you should express yourself?
Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation.
Lingua technis, binhetic, Cant Mechanicus, a collection of dialects used by the Adeptus Mechanicus and its tech priests, can be used as a spoken language with audio bursts or as a machine code with electrical signals. Pretty cool.
Acknowledged.
So no more questions and I must take my
May
leave.
your labors be effective and fruitful.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking about exploring more of my companions' lore, but I think I really have to keep this to one per episode because they are very long. Very cool, but very long. Okay, so let's go meet up with the governor. Which is here in the bunker. I'm gonna say goodbye, Mr. Heinrichs, and we're gonna take Idira with us. Now, I do need to level it up, so give me a second while I look at this. I'll be right back. And I am back. So we had actually 2 rank ups to do for Miss Idira, and I went for Tide of Excellence. It's gonna be our last operative choice. Whenever the operative triggers an exploit on an enemy, the operative gains +1 damage and +2% armor penetration until the end of combat. So, this is better for someone like Pascal, who has tactical knowledge, but she does have a few AoE abilities, so I'm actually counting on that to maybe try and increase her damage by using this. Let's see if it works out. I gave her some more perception, and I'm gonna give her some more ballistic skills as well, because on this level up, I had no other choices, and ballistic skill is actually a good thing for her. And finally, I gave her stabilizing factor. The first psychic power used each turn increases Veil degradation by 2 points less, and if this talent reduces the effect of Veil degradation to less than 0, Veil degradation is instead decreased by 1. So just a way to help out, given that we are casting a lot of warp powers with her, trying to maintain the Veil a little bit more stable might be handy. So that's our level ups. Let us continue. And actually, speaking of which, I might actually want to give her this rifle. So I think I'm gonna go back to what I had on my character here, maybe a shotgun even, and she can have this. Yeah, I like that. Okay. We might have some new toys to give her that I may have forgotten about. I will have to check it out eventually. Well, this is not bad, actually. Oh, there you go. You can take that. Oh, she can also take this. +4 maximum wounds. When Veil degradation is above 15, +10 toughness. Yeah, use it. That's what I want. And then I believe I had something else that I wanted to give her. Am I misremembering? I might be. Oh, no. I want to give Abelard heavy armor. That's what I wanted. So, an additional 5% armor, and we're also gonna gain 1 armor deflection. So, take this. Our dodge goes down again, which, you know, is not ideal, but getting more armor and getting more deflection is what I'm trying to build them for, so we're gonna see how it plays out. Governor, what say you?
None shall stand in my way.
Let's quick save. Greetings again, your lordship. I cannot express how grateful I am for your help. Now that the insidious heretics' designs have been thwarted, nothing stands in the way of my plans or yours. With Aurora dead, the spirit of revolt is waning. Entire squads of rebels are surrendering. We are witnessing the final days of the uprising. I have already signed the order to allocate 2,000 first-class Voidfeathers to you. Nice. Their transfer to your ship should begin any minute now. We also gained 5 profit factor. Awesome. I would also like to salute the Savior of Rykad Minoris, and I have already a festive celebration to be held in your honor. We will celebrate your victory with an ancient custom, the Triumph. You will drive through the city streets accompanied by a guard of honor, as befits a hero who has vanquished the Imperium's enemies, while your trophies will be displayed to the jubilant crowds. Let me know once you have concluded your business in this system and are ready for the Triumph to begin. Governor Medina is positively ablaze with enthusiasm. Idira shrieks and blindly reaches for the air in front of her. She rubs her eyes nervously. Oh, for Grok's sake. What the... Lord Captain, I can't see a thing. Only darkness. Pitch black darkness. The governor chuckles nervously and finishes with his collar. Are you being facetious, ma'am? Idira, are you wounded? No, I'm quite alright. There's darkness in my mind. But I haven't gone blind, no. It is the darkness that I see. It is the only thing I see. This is ominous. No idea what that means, but the whole thing reeks, Lord Captain. I don't like the look of it. In the slight... Oh, Idira stares at her hands as if she has never seen them before. It's gone. Medina breathes a sigh of relief. You have no doubt been through a lot lately, ma'am. Small wonder your vision has a dim spell with all this shooting everywhere, let alone all these maimed and maddened insurgents. It will be alright. The festivities will distract you and you will feel Rider's Reign again. Okay, so let me see if I have another thing to take care of in this system. Then I daren't delay you any further, Your Lordship. Okay, so... Wow, our only quest right now? We did everything else? Oh, this is because we rejected the heretical thing. Yeah, okay, so we've done everything. The only thing left to do is Taste of Victory. The world of Rykad Minoris and its governor want to honor the Lord Captain with an ancient ceremony, the Triumph. Deal with unfinished business before the Triumph. The Von Valentius flagship is not yet prepared to depart from the system. Once all matters have been taken care of, the Governor of Rykad Minoris will see the Rogue Trader to begin the ceremony. Okay. What about my rumors? Nothing special. And the unidentified void ship doesn't matter either. Contracts are empty. Okay. So we got some additional profit factor. So let's see if this guy has anything new for us. And we do, with a 20, nice. So we have stabilizing bracers. When the wearer uses run and gun, they gain a plus agility bonus divided by 2. So in case of Argent, it would be like a 2.5. Bonus damage on their range attacks. Okay. I think sniper gloves are just better. But I will take it. We have a modified las gun, there's no reason not to take it, so take it. And the Ceramite Storm Trooper Carapace. 45% armor, armor deflection, and +1 deflection against human enemies. So, strict upgrade for Mr. Abelard. Heavy armor. You have obtained heavy armor. Unlike light and medium armor, heavy armor provides the ability to deflect damage. Deflection is a unique heavy armor stat that reduces damage taken by a specified flat amount. Heavy armor has a higher armor rating than medium and light armor, but also usually has a higher dodge penalty, making it harder to dodge an enemy attack while wearing it. Only characters with a heavy armor proficiency talent can wear heavy armor. Okay, so fair enough. We will swap this around then. You can take this, it's just straight up better. Okay, goes up to 50% armor, awesome. This modified las gun, it has a rate of fire of 4. So it's a lot better than your las gun. Okay. Does anybody else want this? Maybe Cassia, but I think I prefer the sniper rifle. So yeah, you take this. Looking at the stabilizing bracers, at most I could swap... Oh! Never mind, I was thinking about this. So when the wearer uses run and gun, they gain bonus damage on their range attacks. While the other option is for when the wearer deals damage, the target's weapon skill and ballistic skill is reduced by 5 for 2 rounds, stacks up to 3 times. Okay, in that case I'm gonna take these. And I would like to give the other gloves probably to you, if I can find them. There you go. +3 bonus to tech use. There you go, my friend. Attack opportunity. If somebody's gonna have this, is gonna be Mr. Abelard. Avenger Gauntlets. I'm not really gonna use this, I don't think. Yes, take that. And I believe this is all that I wanted to swap around here. Now, we also gave her a second skin, which means that medium armor no longer reduces her dodge chance. So, do I have a particularly nice piece of medium armor? So 35% armor, plus 5% dodge if the wearer's agility is more than 40. Let's see. we would go up to 35% armor and 90% dodge. We would lose 5% dodge to gain, I believe, 10% armor. Right? Or 20% armor. Okay, I will take that. It sounds like a good trade-off. Or no, 10%. She was using this one. And Sin Skin can go for whom? She has this... Well, it could go for her. Or for myself. Usually she's more in the front than my main character because of her eye ability. So you can take this. There you go. And I think everybody is now sorted. Okay, so I believe that all of my objectives in this system are done. At most I might want to go to those pirates that sold stuff and see if they have something I might want. And once we do that, we're gonna come back to Governor Medine and just continue on our quest, Taste of Victory. It's the only quest we have, so I do believe we took care of everything else successfully. And I'm interested to see how the triumph goes. So, this will be it for this episode, my friends. As always, I want to thank you all for being here with me in the channel, watching some Rogue Trader. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below. If you are enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more. Many more videos coming out soon. And I hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, everyone.